Hello, my name is Aoife and I work in Thurles Library. So I have two more stories for you today. So the first story that we're going to hear is called Side by Side, and it's written by Rachel Bright and illustrated by Debi Gliori, and it is published by Hachette Children's Books.
Deep in the heart of Wintermouse Wood, down in the grass where the autumn trees stood, lived all kinds of creatures, some big and some small, some spiky, some furry, some short and some tall. And here was a family of mouserly folk who nestled in burrow holes under an oak, and the tiniest, weeniest, youngest of those, who had sticky out ears and a whiskerly nose, was named little Mouseling. She had a huge heart. She loved times together, not ever apart. But being so small, she was sometimes left out when her brothers and sisters went up and about. She would scurry and skip as quick as she could, but they scattered so fast across Wintermouse Wood. "Wait for me," she would sing. "Don't run, oh don't hide. Is there nobody here who will stay by my side?" Well, in Wintermouse Wood you don't have to wait long for one or another to answer your song. "I'll stay by your side, be a friend when you need," came the voice of Toad Flip, who was down in the reeds. "We could bounce up and down and do back floppy jumps, then plop in the water and cool down our rumps." "How lovely," she said, for she longed to dive in. "I do like to bounce, but this mouseling can't swim." From high in the branches a voice echoed down. "Well then I'll be your friend," bellowed Big Squirrel Brown. "We can pack up a picnic of hazelnut pie, go up side by side till we're touching the sky." "You're too kind," tinkled Mouseling. "We'd have such a nice time. And I do like nut pie, but I'm too scared to climb." Owl Hooty, she wanted to soar through the sky, but as everyone knows, of course, mouselings can't fly. Batty Fangs, well, he wanted to stay up till dawn, but even the thought of it made Mouseling yawn. She stared at the sky with her eyes big and wide. Would she ever find one who would stay by her side? And as dark came in shadows and rain dropped in drips, this mouseling ran out of her scurries and skips. So she sat very quiet in her silvery fur. No one seemed perfectly matching to her. It seemed in this world she was all on her own. Deep in Wintermouse Wood she felt quite alone. But someone had heard her side-by-side song, someone who'd been around all along. He popped up his head from a very small hole, a tiny weeny mouse, little black foal. He was awfully quiet and terribly shy, but he couldn't hear mouserly tears and stand by. He peeped, "I'll be your friend," and he gave her a wink. "Shall we dance ourselves happy? What do you think?" "We could make up some songs," he said, stroking his chin. "Perhaps all of the wood will want to join in." Oh, this was her other, they'd make a great pair. If only she'd noticed he'd always been there. And now they had met, there was so much to do. They could do all the things you can do as a two. They could seesaw, play catch, and sit back to back. They could hide in their den and go halves on a snack. They could sit and hold paws until daylight was gone. Yes, two little tails are much better than one. They were peas in a pod, they were birds of a feather. They were always best friends, whatever the weather. Two wonderful ones had found a forever, and forever is great when you spend it together. And now side by side they heard the same tune, so they sung to the stars and they danced to the moon. Yes, deep in the heart of Wintermouse Wood, a friend by your side makes life twice as good.
Now, the next story that we have for you today is called Jumblebum, the monster who loves mess. And that's written by Chae Strathie and illustrated by Ben Cort, and it is published by Scholastic Press.
This is the story of Johnny McNess, whose room was an eye-popping, tongue-churning mess. There was gunk on the carpet and junk on the bed, and underpants draped over Bob the dog's head. There was beans in his trainers and jam on his toys, and strange creepy crawlies that made an odd noise. The curtains were crumpled and covered in scribbles, and dripping with ketchup and yogurty dribbles. And if all of that awfulness wasn't enough, his sock drawer was bursting with mountains of fluff. Careful, warned Mom, growing faint with the pang, holding her nose as the smell was so strong. All of the stuff lying crinkled and creased, it's sure to attract the Jumblebum beast. I can't see what's wrong, Johnny said with a smile. I think that my room has its own special style. But later that night, as he snoozled and snored, something was stirring down there on the floor. That something was smelly, that something was big, that something went snuffle and snort like a pig. For there in the corner, enjoying a feast, was the horribly slobbery Jumblebum beast. Its body was made out of wrinkled up clothes, all grubby and gross from its head to its toes. Its hot stinky breath reeked of smelly old shoes, and out of its mouth leaked a luminous ooze. The beast made a sound like a rusty trombone, and Johnny woke up with a bleary-eyed groan. "Harumph, haroo," the Jumblebum howled, then spotting Johnny let out a growl. "I've had quite enough of eating these clothes. I think I might snack on a little pink nose. I bet kids taste better than t-shirts and pants, and mouldy green hamburgers covered in ants." The beast licked his lips, then let out a roar, but Johnny was fast, and he dashed for the door. He ran down the hall with the thing close behind, but where could he go that was tricky to find? The kitchen was perfect, a shadowy room. He wouldn't be seen tucked away in the gloom. But the monster thumped in, and it sniffled the air, peered under the table, and guess who was there? "Harumph, haroo," cried the vile Jumblebum. "You're about to end up in my fat Jumble-tum." But Johnny was smarter than most other snacks, and had clever ways to avoid such attacks. The creature leapt forward, its mouth open wide, but Johnny was quick, and he stepped to one side. And right in the spot where he'd only just been was the thing that would save him, the washing machine. The monster plunged in from its head to its feet and spluttered with rage. "That's not fair, you're a cheat." It let out a gurgle as Mum sprinted in and reached for the button marked extra fast spin. Since then Johnny managed to pull off a feat. That bedroom of his was now lovely and neat. And you would be wise to listen to Mum, just in case that wasn't the last Jumblebum.